Hi there, everybody. Welcome back to 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney. It's Tuesday, December 15th. Thank you for choosing to be here to get filled in on the top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Start by saying, man, I wish it was a Victory Tuesday today, but what a game last night between the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens. Unfortunately, the Browns did lose to the Ravens 47-42, but it was a tough game. We were in it right until the very end when we weren't in it. So that's a bummer, but still love the Browns. With them when they with them when they win, with them when they lose. But we do know a little bit more about those pop cultural references that Baker Mayfield has been making. He did tell ESPN's Keyshawn Johnson on a pregame interview yesterday what's going on there. He said there's a thing going on in the quarterback room that he has to slide in a certain quote, or there's a fine that he has to pay. So that's why we've been hearing those pop culture quotes from Baker Mayfield after the wins. Now, again, unfortunately, we did not get to hear one yesterday because the Browns did not win, but on to the next. The Browns take on the New York Giants on Sunday in Sunday Night Football, again in prime time. That'll be at 8:20 p.m. That'll be right here on Channel 3. Now, getting to what's happening right now in Governor Mike DeWine's press conference on Tuesday, as typically happens on Tuesday. A lot of people have been getting the vaccine. They've been showing that in the press conference. We've got updated numbers from him on what we expect to see in terms of more vaccines coming here to Ohio. So here's what we know. So far, there have been 98,475 vaccines from Pfizer delivered here to Ohio. Well, next week we expect 123,000 more vaccines coming from Pfizer and almost 202,000 vaccines coming from Moderna. More on that in just a little bit. Now, by Christmas here in Ohio, December 25th, that means we will have 420,000 vaccines that have arrived here in Ohio. That's what's expected. So then, in the week of New Year's, 2021, yes, that's coming very closely. We expect another 148,000 vaccines to come from Pfizer and another 80,000 vaccines to come from Moderna. Now, you might be asking yourself, wait a minute, the Moderna vaccine's not even approved yet, but the U.S. is on track to approve the second COVID-19 vaccine by the end of the week. Documents from the Food and Drug Administration's initial review confirmed the effectiveness and safety of the Moderna vaccine developed with the National Institutes of Health. This is according to reporting by the New York Times. Now, a panel of outside experts will provide their recommendations on Thursday, just like happened with the Pfizer vaccine, and an emergency authorization is expected from the FDA on Friday, again, according to reporting from the New York Times. Now let's talk about the latest numbers when it comes to COVID-19 here in Ohio. Today, the Ohio Department of Health is reporting 8,755 newly reported cases of COVID-19. That's up from what we saw yesterday. Yesterday, we saw about 7,900 new reported cases of COVID-19 here in Ohio. Unfortunately, 103,000 people have been reported by the Ohio Department of Health who have died because of COVID-19. Those have been reported in the last 24 hours. That's also up from yesterday when we saw 59 new deaths reported related to COVID-19. In terms of the number of people who are testing positive, the latest daily rate that comes from Saturday is 15.3%, and the latest 7-day average is now at 15.2%. Now, right before I went live here, I double-checked on the hospitalization numbers. We don't have updated hospitalization numbers yet as of going live here, but as soon as we get those, they'll be up on WKYC.com and in our WKYC app. Now let's talk about what's going on throughout the U.S. and globally when it comes to COVID-19. These numbers come from Johns Hopkins University. In the U.S., the total number of cases is now at 16,570,694. It was reported yesterday, according to Johns Hopkins University, that the total number of deaths had surpassed 300,000. But in checking the numbers on Johns Hopkins University website this afternoon, again, just before going live, those numbers now say 298,507. So not sure exactly what's going on there. But when you crunch the numbers basically amount to this. COVID-19 is now killing more than one American every minute. That's every single minute more than one American is dying from COVID-19. And that's a pretty staggering number to take in. At the global level, When it comes to these numbers, according to Johns Hopkins University, the total number of cases is now at 73,179,330, and the total number of deaths at the global level is now at 1,626,229. Now, when we talk about the number of vaccines that Ohio is expecting to get, there is some good news that came out of DeWine's press conference yesterday. Ohio will start distributing COVID-19 vaccines to nursing homes on Friday. This is ahead of schedule, and this is because the CDC has invited Ohio to participate in an early scale launch of vaccines in nursing homes. So this had been scheduled to start in Ohio on Monday, December 21st, in partnership with pharmacy providers, but because of this scaled approach, Ohio will now begin these vaccinations in 5 to 10 nursing homes starting this Friday. So great news for those people who are living in those long-term care facilities here in Ohio. Now, we're hearing all this talk about the Pfizer vaccine needing to be stored at such a cold temperature. So some people have been wondering, what does that mean when it comes to getting your COVID-19 vaccine injection? And we've been seeing people get these vaccine injections. Nobody seems to be shivering or jumping because it's so cold when it happens. Here's a breakdown of what we know. Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine has to be stored between -76 and -112 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 76 degrees below zero and 112 degrees below zero. That's colder than a winter day in Antarctica. But the vaccine has to be thawed and diluted before it can be injected into a person. And it has to be thawed to room temperature before it can be diluted. So the pharmacy director for Indiana University Health said the thawing process can take place very quickly. You can thaw a vial in 30 minutes at room temperature or in the fridge over a period of 2 hours. That's according to Tate Trujillo, who is IU's health director of pharmacy. And then after it's diluted, it's good at room temperature for 6 hours. So we're talking about room temperature here. That's between 35 and 77 degrees Fahrenheit. So there you have it. People who are getting these COVID injections are not getting a freezing injection in their arm. They're getting something between 35 and 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Not a frozen shot in the arm. Now let's get caught up on a couple big things that happened yesterday. Of course, there was no 3 News Now yesterday. I wasn't here, so we've got a couple things to update you on. Mitch McConnell has congratulated President-elect Joe Biden because the Electoral College cast their votes on Monday, December 14th, and now formally Joe Biden is the president-elect. He has reached the required number of Electoral College votes. So Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell congratulated Biden on Tuesday. He said the Electoral College has spoken in a speech from the Senate floor, and he called Joe Biden someone who, quote, has devoted himself to public service for many years. McConnell also congratulated Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. He said, all Americans can take pride that our nation has a female vice president-elect for the very first time. And we get a lot of firsts when it comes to Vice President-elect Harris. She's also the first Black woman and the first South Asian woman vice president-elect. Biden told reporters that he called McConnell on Tuesday to thank him for the comments, and he was on his way to campaign for Democrats in the Georgia runoff elections, which, by the way, that's happening January 5th, and everyone will be keeping a very close eye on that to see who gets to control the Senate, whether that's Republicans or Democrats. But on his way to do that, Biden said that he and McConnell had a good conversation. Another 2 people who recently had a conversation that President Donald Trump said was good was William Barr, the U.S. Attorney General, at least for the next week and a half or so, and President Donald Trump. William Barr is resigning as Attorney General. Now, there is tension between William Barr, or there has been tension between Attorney General Barr and President Donald Trump because, not maybe because, but after Attorney General Barr said that investigations found no widespread voter fraud. Well, that's a claim that President Trump has continued to repeat despite having no evidence to put forward about it. And a few weeks ago, when President Trump was asked about how Barr was doing and if he was doing a good job, if Trump still supported Barr, Trump said, "Ask me in a number of weeks." Then on Monday, he did tweet that he just had a very nice meeting with Attorney General Bill Barr at the White House. He said, "Our relationship has been a very good one. He has done an outstanding job, and Bill will be leaving just before Christmas to spend the holidays with his family." So he has stepped down, and he will be officially stepping down, ending his duties just before Christmas, according to President Donald Trump, who was quoting the resignation letter from Attorney General Barr. And the people who will be filling in, Deputy Attorney General Jeff Rosen will become Acting Attorney General, and Richard Donahue will be taking over the duties of Deputy Attorney General. Now, bringing it back here to home, LeBron James Family Foundation has purchased Akron's Tangier and have plans to turn it into a multi-purpose facility. This is something that has been in development, and this is on West Market Street. So Tangier Restaurant and Cabaret is right by the I Promise School, so it's a perfect location for this, and it's going to be called House 330. That's the 330. That's the reference to the area, right? So this House 330 will have a rooftop athletic complex that'll be sponsored by Dick's Sporting Goods, a full-service Mexican restaurant. Of course, you know LeBron James loves his tacos, so it's got to have the taco joint, a gathering space named for J.M. Smucker, and a Chase Bank, and also a retail space, a coffee bar, an ice cream parlor, and they are keeping the cabaret. So here's what LeBron James said. He said, "Our main goal in everything we do is to support and prepare our families for a better future. And this concept, House 330, is the next step of that journey. I'm excited to open a space that puts everything we want to offer them under one roof." LeBron, excuse me, having a tough time saying that today, went on to say, "From getting them hands-on job training and financial guidance to having a space for important community events and safe physical activities, this is what we've learned our community needs. I can't wait to see this come to life." So this partnership with Tangier sort of started over the summer, and the Tangier owners seemed to be happy to sell the facility during the COVID-19 pandemic because they haven't been able to do some of the things that they have typically been doing in the past, wedding receptions and other gatherings and those kinds of things. So now the building will be fully owned and operated by the charity. Speaking of charity, today, if you make a donation to your local food bank, your donation will be doubled. I'm talking about the Greater Cleveland Food Bank or the Akron Canton Regional Food Bank. Northeast Ohio's food banks have donated to people and gotten food in the hands of people in record numbers in 2020, and they are stretched to the limit, folks. They are really, really maxed out. So today is a great day to support them because of that donation match that is happening today, all the way up until midnight. So if you make a donation to the Greater Cleveland Food Bank or the Akron Canton Regional Food Bank today before midnight, your contribution will be doubled. You can check out more on that at wkyc.com/3cares. That's it for your 3 News Now update for Tuesday, December 15th. If you haven't already, subscribe to the podcast, 3 News Now with Stephanie Haney, and also subscribe to the other podcast, 3 Things to Know with Stephanie Haney. This week we are talking about dating during the pandemic and all of the challenges that come along with that, and some interesting insight on how you can get really good at those video dates, which, by the way, according to the experts, don't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon. So make sure you check that out. We'll see you next up in Clicking in Cleveland on What's New. That happens at 5 p.m. and you can stream that live for free in the WKYC app. So make sure you check that out. That's a great alternative if you would like to stream for free the show. And I will see you there. And I'll see you back here tomorrow on 3 News Now. Everyone, stay safe and be well. I'm Stephanie Haney.